Hello, everybody. What's up? What's good? And all of that good stuff. I have a little message today, but I'm gonna be quick because I don't know that I'm gonna say all of it. What was it, last week? I think it was last week. I did this. Look at this little piece of hair. I did this journey. I was just fooling around with some different meditation tracks. A lot of times I meditate silently, or sometimes I like doing Buddhist chants. Just listen to them because I can't chant that good, or at least I don't like the way I sound when I do it. Anyway, this particular time I chose one of those binaural beat things, and it was called Mitra Spirit Guide. And I'm quite aware of two spirit guides that are always around me. But I was just there's been some changes in my own life with all of these. I talked a lot about it when I was talking about the Jupiter retrograde. But there's been this knowing inside of me that I kind of don't want to deal with as far as me, what I call myself, who I think I am, what I'm here to do, all of that stuff. It's been a thing with me lately, and I've been reluctant to move forward. And so I felt like inside of my spirit that there must be another guide for me. If I'm truly supposed to go to the next level and everything and change things, then I need somebody different to help me change, and help me see. And so that's the mentality that I had when I did this journey, right? And so while I was meditating, so what had happened was I was like, I'm always going to the underworld and I'm always going to the upper world. And I was like, I want to go to the inner world for once. And so that's what I decided to do. And that's what I did. And I went to this place that I have never been before. And let me tell you that it seems like as if there's 3 layers, like upper, middle, lower. And the lower, as I spoke about in other videos, is being where the ancestors reside, and the upper being where angelic beings reside, ascendant masters and all of that. And the middle is us. The middle is not quite us. I was very aware when I did this journey that there were layers where we think 3D is, there's 3D and then 5D, and we always think, okay, 5D is probably just under what is the upper world. But I don't know, I had this feeling as if there was, not like I was in another dimension, I just felt like there was another, how do I explain it? Like there's another level above me, and I felt like there's another level below me. Like where I was in between the worlds, but it wasn't, it didn't have an underworld field and it didn't have an upper world field. I was definitely in the middle, but I wasn't really aware of what particular level or dimension. Anyway, that's not super relevant. I just thought it was interesting to have that sensation of not being in the upper or underworld, and there not being a definite middle world. Anyway, so I walk out, and it's like I'm looking at a desert area. And I'm walking, and I'm walking for a long time. And I'm like, well, where's anybody at? I was like, hello, y'all know what I came here for. Like, where are you? Where is the person that's supposed to teach me? And I saw a bird fly by, and it was a crow, of course. And it sat on my shoulder. And I was like, something that I don't know. And it just, sat there. And then it made a sound. It crowed. It made a sound in a certain direction, and I started walking in that direction. It was like going towards the east. And so I started walking in an eastern direction, and I started to see trees as I walked from far off. And I saw this one river, but it wasn't even a river. It was like no wider than my damn shoe, of a stream that went past the tree. And I walked over and I splashed in it. And I was like, well, this is just silly. And I heard a voice said, silly to you. And I was like, well, where are you? Who's speaking? And it was like when I looked up, from splashing the water and I answered this voice, when I looked up, there was a lot of trees. And I saw some ruffling in the bushes. And I was like, come on, come out. I'm ready. I'm ready to meet you. I'm ready to know who you are and what it is that you have to say to me at this point in time in my life. I'm open to whatever messages there are that you need to give me. And the thing that came out, y'all, I was just like, what? First, it was like this baby lizard, bloop, bloop, bloop. It fell off of this tree and fell on the ground. And I was like, oh, little lizard. And I picked it up. And then, I don't know why, but I put it on the opposite side of this little teeny ass stream. And I stepped to the right side of it, to where I'm right in front of the bushes. And when I did that, I heard a voice say behind me, oh, it didn't need your help. And I turned around and look, and there is this man/reptile thing. And his head is like human size head, like my size head, but it was snake. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say with like scales or anything. It was smooth skin, but the entire figure of it was like a snake. And it was like scales all the way down here to the shoulders. And then it was a man's body and a man's pair of legs, but it had a tail, like a reptilian type tail, and it had reptilian feet. And I was like, what are you? And he was like, you know who I am. You know what I am. And I was like, okay, I guess I do, right? I must know who you are if you showed up here. And I was like, what do you have to say? And he said some personal stuff to me, and it's in relation to what I was just talking about, of feeling like there's another level for me to go up on. And I don't know, maybe for like the past 4 years or so, I've called myself queeniseanu, whether it be publicly or privately, for about 4 years, which is homage to my mother deities, Isis, or also called Aset, and Danu. And I've called myself that for about 4 years. They have helped me through everything, and taught me so much and got me so far. And maybe like a month ago, I was meditating with Isis and she was like, it's time for you to move on. And I was like, nah. Move on from what? You're my mom. Like, nah, why? And I was so reluctant to it. And she insisted, it's time for you to move on. You need to go to the next level. You need to go to the next level. And we're not going to be there when you do it. You need to go do it. And I mean, I was fucking crying. I was so upset because it's like, what child wants to be abandoned by their mother? That's how I felt. I was like, why? And she just left it that way. And it was like, as I spoke to this reptilian creature, it was more than obvious why. Not that long ago, I got another name. And that name is Irana. And it's actually a Cherokee name for snake. And he said, you have this negative connotation. You're aware that we as reptiles are ancient. We've been here for millions and millions and millions of years. You are aware and you tap in, but you don't want to be a part of it when you already have a contract with us. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And he was like, don't you see? You go through things that other people don't go through. You are meant to shed your skin. You are meant to go through everything you go through and shut it off just like it's nothing and keep on living your life. And he's like, the wisdom that's inside of you, is time for it to be taught, because he said very soon that there are like gateways that are going to be open. And I'm not the only one that's contracted with them, in that other people are going to speak up and other people are going to speak their truths. And those truths is what's going to bring salvation. And I'm not sure why he used the word salvation, because y'all know how I feel about salvation. Salvation from what? The whole concept of it. But he said that those words, the things that The knowledge that's been locked up and hidden away is going to bring salvation to certain people on the earth. And it is going to be worldwide that these gateways are going to start opening up, and you're going to hear them. You're going to hear different truths coming from different parts of the world, but they all mean the same thing. And he said, but with the knowledge, with the coming out of the wisdom, you will see chaos. It's inevitable. And he's like, but it's time for the teachers to teach. And it's time for the singers to sing. It's time for the dancers to dance. It's time for the worshipers to worship. And he said it's time for writers to write. And he went on and on. And he's like, so many people that have practiced being locked up. And he's like, but we, reptilians, reptile creatures. Well, he didn't call himself a reptilian. He said that they're not the same thing for some reason. I didn't quite understand why, because, you know, some people, new agey, they talk about reptilians a lot. But he said he doesn't come as a representative of a reptilian race. That, I don't know. It was weird how he described it. I didn't quite get it. But the important part of the message is the fact that we are coming upon these shifts. And he's like, you're going to watch truth coming out from the young, and the old won't understand it. And he's like, there'll be new understandings as far as religion and spirituality and relationships go. The way human beings relate to one another. He said there will be changes, big changes, and we will see them in society at a whole, at a large, like worldwide. Things will start to shift and to change because we are coming into a different age, and the lies have no choice but to fall away and to crumble. And the teachers need to teach so that the students will be prepared. If you already have knowledge of some sort, it won't be something that breaks you. And he's like, because mental illness is a real thing. And mostly in this age of deception, we have been taught to hold on to fear, taught to hold on to limitations, what we can and can't do, so much to the point that our sanity revolves around it. Like, people lose their mind when they lose control. You know what I mean? In this modern world. And so he was saying that just tell them that it's time for the teachers to teach. It's time for the singers to dance. It's also time for the mourners to mourn. And it's time for freedom. And freedom's going to start happening all over the earth. But remember that it also brings chaos. The liberation will bring chaos. And it might look worse before it gets better. But anyway, that's the message. And that's all I'm going to share for right now. And yeah. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share the video with those that you think will benefit from it. Y'all have a good one.